Guess who? It's Robbie Susan Chandler from RobbieSusanCardsandCrafts.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. I hold classes in my home along with doing some online videos. And if you live in the area, I'd love for you to attend some of my classes. I generally hold classes every 2 weeks on Sunday, Mondays, and Thursdays. And on Thursdays, I have an evening class. So come join us. So today I'm going to show you a cool technique called a tearing technique. And here's the card we're using. The designer series paper you see on this card is called Mixed Media Florals Designer Series Paper. And it's this pack right here. Let me turn it over. Mixed Media. And it really has some gorgeous paper in it. The one we're using is this one, but any of these would be pretty to be used on this card. So, and see, they even have some black and white you could color in. So that's this pack. That's the pack I'm using here. And if you look right in the middle, the tearing technique I'm talking about is right across here. So let's take a look at this card and find out how I did this. Let me move my little name thing out of the way. Oh, and while I'm at it, let me show you my little organizational tool carrier here. It's called my Desktop Tool Caddy. And I sell these $22, which includes shipping. And if you are interested in one, just drop me an email at robbiesusan@rsvpcardsandcrafts.com. Okay, so back to the card. Our base is basic black, 11 by 4 1/4, and scored at 5 1/2. So this is the base. And then behind the base is that red piece. And this is Poppy Parade. And it's 4 by 3 1/2, and actually it's going to go on the card this way. And what I did, I embossed it with this new embossing folder called Soft Waves. And I did it this direction because I wanted it to kind of swoop down like my design of my tearing. So once you've got this piece, you can go ahead and adhere it right to the front of your card. Okay, so that's the first two pieces. Inside, I didn't show you the inside, I have May All Your Wishes Come True. Of course, the front says, wishing you a happy birthday, and may all your wishes come true. And this was all stamped in Poppy Parade for the darker, and the shadow of the flower was Flirty Flamingo. And that was all stamped with the wishing, delightful wishes, and unbounded love is may all your wishes come true. So I use these two sets on the inside. And this piece right here is 4 by 5 1/4. All right, back to the front. Now, there's a black piece, and it's 4 by 3 1/4. And on top of it is our designer series paper that's 3 1/2 by 4. Of course, both of them are 4 across. This one's 3 1/2, and this one's a little bit, just a little bit smaller. All right, so what you do, you put the two of them together. You want your edges to meet. You look on the back, you can kind of line it up so they're even from top to bottom. You really probably don't want it higher on one end than the other end. All right, so looking at the front, you want to start about 1 inch from the top right-hand corner, and you're just going to start tearing. And you tear down and kind of put your sights on 1 inch below the bottom over here. So I'm going right for that 1 inch line about right there. And now we've got our two pieces. And what you do at this point, you split them. And this is where you get your border. Now isn't that cool? I had not ever done the tearing technique this way. I'd just torn it and didn't have the piece underneath. But now you've got this cool border and they match. If you had torn them separately, you probably would have gotten some weird designs that wouldn't have looked good together. Here's two I've already adhered together. So see, you just have them like that. Now, the reason I put this down first is because you've got to figure out how far apart these are going to go. So you glue your top one on and just look for your border, however, whatever width border you like. I like about an 1/8 on each side, or a fourth on each side, and 4th at the top, 4th at the bottom. So you just glue it down like that. And so you've got your little swirl here in the middle. All right, I've got one over here already glued down. Now let's look at these other pieces. They all came from the Delightful Wishes dies. And the sentiment was this die. Leaf came from this one. And the leaf is out of Shaded Spruce. And the flower, there's two parts to the flower. One is Poppy Parade and the other one is Flirty Flamingo. And that's these two pieces. And you just adhere those together. And the secret is, look for these two little arms going down. Several people say it looks like a crab. So look for the crab legs. They go down like that. And you just adhere it together like that. And here's one I've done. And it also has this little bitty brown center if you choose to put that in there, and it's cut with that die. And then the wishing, there's two dies for the wishing. One is the solid white background, which is this piece. And this is the background part of it. And then you have the smaller detail piece, which is this one. Now what I did, I ran this through some sticky paper because this was not going to be a whole lot of fun to stick down by putting glue on it. Now if you have a Xyron machine, that would work great, but we also have two-sided sticky paper that we sell through Stampin' Up! That you could also use. So you just peel this off and you stick it down to your white piece, which I put somewhere. Anyway, I've got this already put together right here. Now this one, I took this little hole punch that I have and just punched me two little dots and I glued them right there. You could, here's another one I've done, you could just take it and take the Poppy Parade marker and just color in that little spot there if you don't want to keep up with those little tiny dots, or if gluing them down is a pain. Let me see if I can make that a little bit rounder. There we go. But to me, you really can't tell much difference in putting the dots or just using your marker to dot the eyes. Okay, so we've got that. Now let me pull my glue out, which is right here in my caddy. Get this out of the way. And we're just going to put a little glue on the back of this wishing. Now this card really goes together pretty fast. You know, you can use quite a variety of colors, and any pattern paper would really be pretty on this. Okay, I think that's enough to hold that down. Alright, so let's just put this in the middle of our Poppy Parade piece right here. I'm going to hold it for a second because my stuff seems to be wanting to slip around lately. Okay, so there's the wishing, and here's the You a Happy Birthday, and I'm just going to put it on some of these little mini dimensionals. Isn't it nice to have two sizes, the big one for big things and the little one for the smaller things? Just going to put that right across there. And then I have my flower, and he's kind of down here in the corner looking up at the rest of the card. Let's put that Y right between the two petals. And then here's our green leaf. And we'll turn it this way. Stick it under like that. I always feel like a flower needs a leaf around it just to make it look more like a flower. And this does kind of blend in with the rest of the paper so that it really doesn't stick out a whole lot. But anyway, here's our card. Now, I did add some of these purple adhesive back sequins. And let's put a white one. Let's put a white one right here in the red so it'll show up. And then I'm going to put a purplish color one. Let's use a big one. Up here in the greenery. Turn over, and I should just get my take your pick tool to do this. Whoops, wrong side. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to put, let's see, where do I have another one? Oh, right down here I have a lighter pink right in this area. Of course you can put these sequins anywhere you want, but I thought that was a good representation there. So here's our card. Now wasn't that fun and pretty? And this tearing really is a unique technique because you get a different look every time you tear one. So I hope you like this card. Please like my videos. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you would like to join my team, I'd love to have you on my team. And if you need a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator too. Now links to all the supplies are down below my in the comments. And also there's a link for tutorial with all the measurements. So I hope you'll try this card and enjoy making it. And until next time, happy stamping.